When you went out to L.A., what were you doing? You were just, you were a kid.
Yeah.
You were like, what, 18, 19 when you went to
I
LA?
think I was like 20, but I'd already gone to New York for a little while, and I wanted to be an artist. I painted and
what type of painting?
I used a lot of pastels, and I did all sorts of weird stuff, and I would sell
landscapes.
Landscapes. I do flowers. I do faces.
Are you watercolors, acrylics?
I used mostly pastels and then a little bit of oils.
Yeah.
But I would sell my paintings my friends were all musicians, so I would sell them at their rock shows, at bars and that kind of thing in Seattle.
Well, you started out, you were going to be a basketball player. How tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
You're 6'1".
Yeah, I was a point guard and did all right.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Lake Washington High School outside of Seattle.
And were you one of those guys that was considered good enough to maybe turn pro?
No, man. In my head, I was at the time, but in reality, no. But I.
And then would you have an accident or something? Where?
Yeah, I got the shit kicked out of me up at college.
You talk to me about that. What college were you at?
I was at a little college called Skagit Valley in Washington State, up in the north part of the state, right below the border. And I was coming home from practice one day, and some guys pulled over on the side of the road, and they're like, and I thought, oh God, they're going to ask me for directions. I don't know where I am. I'm like, I'm an 18-year-old kid in the middle of this town I don't know anything about. And anyway, they ended up beating the shit out of me. I think it's because I had like dippity-doo in my hair, and it just didn't quite fit in with that community at the time. This would have been like 1984, and this was like. This was a kind of a backwards town at that time.
It was like a Negan kind of situation.
It was a little bit.
Yeah.
And so they pulled a knife on me, and it got really ugly. And at the same time, it also hurt my knee. And at that point, I was like, fuck
You hurt your knee in the fight?
I hurt my knee playing basketball, but I was, I still had high hopes of coming back.
Did they stab you with the knife?
No, but I got one of them. I got their knife from them and put it through their forearm.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're pretty good with your hands.
I was okay back in those days. Now,
how many guys were there on you?
There was like 5 guys.
Wow.
But as soon as that happened, as soon as I got the knife and hit them, they took off. And I remember I got back home, my whole basketball team like spread out looking through the town for these 4 guys or 5 guys. And that was it for me. I was like, you know what, college is done.
But I would have crumbled. I would have just curled up in a ball.
It wasn't a good situation. And
so you quit college after that?
I quit college. Much to my parents' chagrin. And I would live in downtown Seattle, and I was doing the art and
hanging out with musicians, right?
Hanging out with musicians.
When you were in Seattle, were you hanging out with those Pearl Jam guys?
Yeah, man, those were all like my buddies. And
really?
So when that whole kind of musical movement, the grunge movement hit, these guys were all like friends.
Like, were you hanging out with Eddie Vedder?
Eddie Vedder wasn't there. It was still Mother Love Bone back in those days.
Right.
So it was pre that. So it was like the Alice in Chains guys.
Alice in Chains guys is sad. A lot of them, like 2 of them, are dead now.
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
man. Yeah.
And you knew all of them.
Yeah. We used to there was like 2 bars in downtown Seattle that we'd all hang out at.
So not only are you doing art at that point, but I heard that you tried to be the musician, except you sucked. But you had the look.
Yeah, I had the look. I had like long crimped hair, and I wore eyeliner and all that shit, and like a Japanese kimono. And
so were your parents at the point that they thought you were like a dipshit? Like,
God, they're still at that point, and they still think I'm a fucking dipshit.
No, I mean, you made it, but you were never the guy in school who went to the school play.
No,
you never thought about acting, ever. So when you moved out to L.A., somebody just comes up to you and says you should audition for a Roger Corman movie?
Yeah, well, I went out there with a friend of mine who was an actor and had a lot of prospects, and so I kind of helped him move to L.A., and he had some connection with a casting director, and she got me an audition, or got me a few auditions. But one of the first things I did.
Were you like, hey, I don't act? I mean,
she was determined. She's one of those people, a nurturer, and she just saw.
So she was like,
kid.
"What? Hey, you're a good-looking dude. You
kind of. Right. You can do this." And she helped me work on auditions for a little while, and
how nice.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was awesome because I was just going to stay in LA for a couple of weeks and have fun and then go home. She hooked me up, and I got like a little agent right off the bat, and one of my first auditions was for a Roger Corman movie playing a killer pimp, and I got it, and it was the lead in the movie.
Did you know what you were doing in the audition?
No, I didn't know anything. But
maybe that's the point.
He was like a little Negan. He was just an angry little pimp guy.
Right.
But I just remember being in LA for like 3 weeks, and then driving down Hollywood Boulevard in a convertible Cadillac with a camera mounted on the hood thinking, oh, I got this shit wired.
Right.
You know, I just got here, and now I'm driving down Hollywood Boulevard doing a movie. This is awesome.
I'm Robert De Niro.
Yeah,
all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Now you're filling out on your license occupation, actor.
Yeah. This is a done deal.
Did you call your parents and say, I'm not a painter anymore, I'm an actor?
Yeah, I think I did, and I could feel their eyes rolling from across the country.